since Mark is the only dude on the call right now, let's go ahead and let him like jump on in with your first question. Your first question topic are just like, what is it when you think of females or relationships, or specifically like black relationships that have been a challenge for you as a single male living up in the DC area?
Oh, where to begin? So let me see. Part of the problem is I've noticed that women over a certain age group are successful, who have achieved a lot, who have had past experience that they didn't appreciate, are very, what's the word? Bitter. That's one of the words I throw out there.
Wow.
Angry.
Okay.
I get met
Ouch.
a lot of times if I've done this, and this. Because I'm still actively dating a lot.
So when you say bitter or angry, what behaviors are you talking about? Like, give me a specific behavior that would classify or fall into that
All right.
category. What does bitter
Bitter
mean?
means within our first, couple conversations, laying down a list of do's and don'ts of things out. Hey, I will not tolerate this. You won't do this. You have to come at me like this. I'm not going to do it for any lying anymore. Or that my favorite, hey, all men are basically dogs. Prove me otherwise. That's an interesting one.
Wow.
Yep. And these are from successful women.
Who have you been dealing with?
In the
Nicole, have you ever come out? Have you ever came out out fighting like that? I have never. Maybe that's a part of my problem. I have never put anything out like that. Right when I first meet somebody.
my hesitation says that I'm guilty, but not necessarily like that to that extent. More like more upfront. Like, look, if you're looking for sex, just say so we can either handle it or not. Like, cut the BS. Let's get to it. And that was, a while ago when yes, I was hardened. As hardened equals bitter. And I now that I'm like fluttering around in these dating communities, I am more aware of what you are dealing with. Like, had you said that before, I'd say, no, not all women are like that. But I am seeing now more that women are displaying that bitter hardness just openly, like not fully aware of how they sound. Like, do you understand how hard and like not soft and feminine that sounds? Hmm.
I just have never. That has never. I guess because when I come, I'm not in the whole dating thingy. Like I know, Mark, you said you're like doing the whole like dating thingy. Like I don't like. Like I don't. So I guess I'm not thinking in that mindset. People who I typically fall into a relationship with, we start out on it's a friend basis. So there's not a when what am I bringing to the table, what are you bringing to the table type of conversation on the front end. It's more of I've known this person for a while, um and if it looks like it's going in that direction, then it's a conversation of, okay, what are you looking for? Is it something that I can provide? This is what I'm looking for. Is it something that you can be a provide? And if not, then you go from that aspect versus I'm not going to tolerate this, that, and the other. But here's the question mark. So is it more of the females coming at you in that energy? If they presented that same information in a different way or packaged it differently, would it be more something that's more able to deal with because they're being honest? Like, this is what I want, or this is not going to work for me? Or is it just that altogether? Does that make sense, Mark? Did you fall off the call? Mark, you know what? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. We're gonna keep talking, Nicole, because I don't know where the dudes are or what's going on. So I thought I heard his glass
Oh, that was me.
cling.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh no, he fell off the
yeah.
call. That's cool. He'll chime back in.
So
So that's interesting to hear
when
that.
I say I'm doing these, it's the discussions, the dating discussions. So not necessarily that I am dating, but in people talking in like on Clubhouse or on social media. One that is the loudest complaint from men is they are dealing with these hardened women. But then two, I do think that there is kind of a separation of the female communities kind of how they break it down is like traditional versus modern, and the modern woman is the one that is about the accomplishments, and because they had all these accomplishments, they feel like they need to be addressed or handled accordingly, and they're very hard about
That
these
is so
standards
interesting.
or whatever and not willing to compromise. And to me, in a relationship, that's what it's all about. So if you're not willing to compromise, then what are you really looking for?
Right. And I see Mark's back on the call. Did you hear anything I said, Mark, before you disappeared?
Hello?
Hi, Mark.
Are
Welcome
you able to
back.
hear me though?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can
could
hear
hear
you
y'all and
now.
I was trying to talk, but it wasn't picking up my voice. So I'm switching to see if I can do it on the computer. Maybe it's the phone.
Okay. Did you hear? So you heard what I was saying about, is it the energy these females are coming at you with, or is it the actual things they're
It's not the things you're
saying?
saying, because at my age, I understand that people go through a lot. There's a lot of hurt and everything like that. Like everybody goes through it. That's why we're still single, especially as you're older. Everybody has a reason. It's just the tone, I guess. Some things are unresolved. And my take as a man is like, hey, I'm just meeting you. One opportunity. I know you have a past. I get that. Not trying to be whatever you had before, but you don't even really get the opportunity because all that old experiences they put on you. Like,
So it's not necessarily the information; it's more of how they're giving it to you. And I guess that makes sense. Like if somebody came at me like that, I would be like, well, hold on. Like I'm not saying we about to run off and get married. Like so, I guess as a female, who that's not my method. So that's interesting to hear. Um, but yeah, that's really interesting to hear. And we have Lashun on the call now. Hey,
Hi
Lashun,
there. I'm
how are
good. How are
you?
you all doing?
Doing
We're doing
well.
wonderful. I don't. Okay, Mark, are you still
Yeah, can
here?
you hear me? Oh, sorry.
Ooh. Okay, cool. I can hear you now.
All right, are y'all able to hear me?
So
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. So Lashun, just to kind of get you caught up with what we were talking about, we let Mark kind of throw in his first kind of you know stuff that he's been dealing with or experienced about how females who are kind of bitter and present that way. But before we go any further, just we're gonna do a quick intro for the listeners. So obviously I'm Michelle. Yeah, Nicole was on our previous podcast when it was Ladies Night. So we have Nicole back. And for this podcast, I have two who I look at as my brothers. We served in the military together, and when you are in the military together, you kind of build connections with individuals that go and run really deep. And these two individuals are two guys that I look highly upon, and I invited them to come on. So we have Lashun and Mark, and if you guys can say hi to the
Hello to
listeners.
the listeners.
Hi, listeners.
So yeah, so now that we got that out the way, let's jump back into that statement that Mark had brought up. And also, I want to kind of hit on the terms that you use, Nicole, the modern and traditional. Like I don't subscribe to any type of labeling. That's just how I'm me. Like I literally don't feel I can categorize myself in different labels. I just don't like labels, period. So, but then I'm a weird type of person to where I'm pretty what you see is what you get. So, explaining or hearing Mark's experience is interesting. And hearing what you're seeing when you're going and looking at these different dating groups that you're kind of looking at. LaShawn, do you have any, I don't know, experiences or kind of questions on, dealing with females that you have seen that have been bitter and that bring that towards you when you're getting to know them?
Um, I don't know if it's more about being bitter. I guess on my end, it's about from what I've Seen, um, some don't like the truth, and when I say that, is, let's say, as for me, I'm a single guy, and I explain my reasons for that, and it's always like, nah, it has to be more. Like, you had to have had something bad, or it had to have been this or whatever. And I'm like, nah, it's just a choice, and it's a choice that I made, and just stuff like that. And if it's not that, then not taking me for, or not taking someone for their word. I've run into that. I won't say the bitter part. I haven't really run into that.
Okay. So right now what I'm hearing is, Mark has experiences or are dealt with individuals coming at him with that energy, just being bitter, just being closed off. Um and you have dealt with if issues with females just not believing what you're
Right.
saying. So why do we think some of these females are acting this way? Like I kind of want to see what you all feel, what some of the reasons are, and maybe different ways to approach some of these things. And then myself and Nicole can kind of chime in from kind of what we're hearing, and maybe, I don't know, maybe give some insight or ways to kind of work around that. Like, so going back to Mark, with these ones who are coming and saying like, I'm not going to tolerate this and this, that, and the other, what would be a better way for that information to come across without that aggression?
Honestly, when you're first meeting somebody, some of the information is just way too much. If you have some of the emotional, I guess I can use the word baggage because I don't know how to be politically correct. But if you have the type of emotional baggage with you, I would say talk to a therapist before you jump in the dating scene, because I'm not sure how you relate that you've been through stuff that you don't want to divulge the details, of course, because you're just meeting somebody and you have that energy. So there's stuff that really, I think it boils down to them not being ready to be out there and they haven't handled it. And I don't think there's a good way to tell somebody everything bad that you've been through, because it's not the place, especially when you first start dating. Like, that comes out later once you're ready to be vulnerable.
I agree. I agree with that. And LaShawn, how about you? What would be a more appropriate way, or the workaround for somebody just not believing what you're saying?
Just take the person for what they say, and if that's not the case, then just move on. Like, if I say, hey, you know what, I'm cool with hanging out or this or whatever, and that's it, and I don't want anything else from it. I will communicate if it changes or something like that. Don't think because we hang out or because this happened or whatever that it changes. So just take that person for what they said. You know
Ooh,
that just
ooh.
I mean, I'm gonna take you for what you say until you prove me otherwise. So just
I'm about to jump all in that,
go.
Well,
Oh,
LaShawn.
can I
no,
say
Just
something?
I'm
that
holding back
just
too.
oh yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
no,
can I help you out, Sean?
yeah.
Yeah, come on,
I just
Mark.
want to
Come
say
on.
LaShawn has shifty eyes, so I'm not sure if you can trust anything he says. Okay, that's all I had.
And that laugh
Yeah,
confirmed it.
nah,
Whew.
nah.
I'm gonna let Nicole go first on that one.
So I completely agree as far as taking the person at the word at what they're saying. How I came to agree was
Oh.
I was
Okay.
involved with the gentleman and was doing everything relationship wise, but didn't say relationship wise, and then come to find out he had relationshiped with somebody else. And so I'm like, well, if your behaviors are doing this, but he kept saying, but I never said I want a relationship. And so I was believing in the behaviors and not believing in what he said. And so the two conflicting behaviors doesn't match the words. So then moving forward, I now implemented that into my dating. And I became kind of very direct like that too. Like if I didn't say anything, and if I didn't say that I was paying for this date, I'm not. If I didn't say we're in a relationship, I'm not. And so then I became more, oh, she has mannish ways. But I agree. Like if I didn't, so now I move forward and say if I never said it, then it's not the case. And I do find men tend to do the same thing, try and see the behaviors. And but majority of the time, my behaviors match my words. It's just somebody's not reading it correctly. If they were to ask me directly, then yes, I would tell you, no, I don't want a relationship with you, period. But
So my question with all that then is, what type of behaviors, because that's a really gray area, and I'm coming back to what you were saying, LaShawn, and kind of hinting on how females adjust how we act according to how we are treated. And that's kind of where everything is stemming from with the from these previous examples. So if I'm in a relationship with somebody who's doing all relationship things, and then it's like, oh, but we're not in a relationship, who's at fault here? So who is it? Is it like, yeah, I'm doing all the relationship things with you, you're meeting my family, we're freaking doing everything a couple does, but oh, we're not together. So why do all the things that you do in a relationship? And where's the fault come from? The dude who's doing all the things, and it feels like somebody's being led on, or the chick who's like, well, actions speak louder than words, and we're doing all the actions. Why aren't we in a relationship? How does that pan out?
Well,
So that question's for
I'll
LaShawn.
say this. You say you don't like labels. That's a label because why?
Oh no, you
My
didn't. Okay,
man's.
you're right. You're right. You're
Um,
right. Okay.
because why does it have to be you're doing relationship things if you're hanging out or if you're going to eat dinner or having a movie? I mean, there's no, I'm sure there are books that say this and that, but I mean, there's also books that say, hey, don't sleep with somebody for 120 days or something or whatever, and no one follows that. So I mean, people pick and choose what they want, and that's cool. But if it's not out there, if it wasn't said, within the first couple of dates or whatever, then don't guess. Like, don't guess that that's what it is. And I would say that's probably, I don't know, maybe both people are at fault. Because I'm gonna be upfront and say what I like, what I don't like. In the first time, if I hang out with you or whatever, so there's no misunderstanding at all. You know, I'll be like, hey, I don't want this. I don't want that, or yeah, I'm cool with this or whatever. And then, you're grown, you're an adult, you can make a decision for yourself. But I always say, if something changes, then communicate that, let it be known, because I'll let it be known. I'm not
Yeah.
maybe in my younger days I probably would not, because you live and learn. you know,
And I've known
so
him in his
I
right,
younger
so
days, so he's probably
right.
telling the
You've
so
known
truth.
me that
so I
way.
have a wait, I have a question. So kind of going off of what Mark was talking about, and you're stating, what you like and what you don't like, LaShawn, and somebody, woman says, hey, I don't like blah. Where's the balance between I'm being aggressive and telling you my standards, and or I'm expressing my concerns, wants, needs, standards? Is it
Um.
is it in
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
delivery?
Well, I don't know. I guess for me, I just like you to be upfront. Like, just tell me. Like, I mean, just straight up, and then we're golden. There's no misunderstandings at all, because again, I'm very even keel. I'm not about I don't know, games or drama or whatever people say. But I'm, because I can stay to myself and I'll be okay, or I can meet someone and that's cool too. But I guess delivery. But I don't know. I, I
So
that's that. I guess that's on who's getting delivered to and how they take it. And
right.
then again, just communicate it. Be like, hey, all right, hold up, that's a little bit too harsh right there. Let's slow that down or whatever. Um,
Do you do that,
So
Mark?
Yeah. So me and Sean are a little different. I'm built differently. I like to cuddle and all that stuff.
clearly.
I like
He's a Cancer.
I
Of
like
course
yes,
you
Cancer.
Oh,
Best
okay,
sign ever.
okay.
I like relationships and whatnot. So I'm more of that type. So what Sean's talking about when somebody talks about, hey, what it's going to be, I'm totally fine with that. Somebody's like, hey, I want casual. I'm looking for long term. I'm fine with that. It's when things come to surface that obviously you got some serious issues with trust. When somebody just says, hey, you know what? I bet you're a liar, or you know, they start talking, like you'd be surprised. Some people jump out there early on and tell you that you're a cheater. Like, yo, I just met you. Like, but you're probably gonna cheat. All men cheat. It's like, oh gosh, this again. So I run into something different
Wow.
because I'm looking for a different type of relationship than Dr. Watkins. There, he's more like, that's my man's, but he's been single like forever. And I relationship, I give somebody a chance. I'll self-impose monogamy and stuff for the minute until you show me that you're crazy. So it's two different tracks that we're on. But what he's talking
Okay.
about, I'm cool with. But when people show they crazy, that's when I've got to slide off.
And this is so interesting because I was thinking out here, and Nicole can definitely back me up. I was thinking like females had it hard dealing with these dudes, but y'all seem to have some serious challenges as well. Because I wouldn't even think of meeting somebody and then giving them my whole story and my list of demands and everything else. I'm just trying to say, hey, what do you like? What do you not? What don't you like? What makes you happy? Where do you see yourself in a few years and stuff like that. So I guess too, could it be the circles that you're looking for people in that can kind of bring some of this stuff to you?
Well, I cast a wide net. I try to stick with the sisters, but I cast a wide net. But you have to realize, Michelle, you're kind of rare because you have self-esteem, confidence. You're comfortable in your own skin. A lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people don't have your background, and they feel like they have either something to prove or they feel they've been slighted. You've been through what you've been through, but you're still able to like enjoy life, love it, and wake up in the morning, look at yourself like, "Hey, I'm Michelle. I'm great." There's a whole bunch of people out there who can't do that, and it shows in their interactions. Like instead of being happy about what they have and what they've achieved, it's like it's like weapons. Like I have this, I have that, and like I dress down on purpose and stuff to see how people are going to act. And it's funny how people start throwing out their salaries and all types of stuff that you would never talk about on a date
Wow.
because they want to show you that, hey, I got this, I'm going to shine. Are you worthy to be with me? And the whole time in my head, I'm laughing. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like you don't know much about me, and you don't want to learn, but you want to go to a laundry list and a resume of what makes you the baddest chick in the world, which obviously you attracted me, so that's not necessary, but they go hard with it. But that's not you though. So I mean, you're like in a whole different category. But when you come up here, especially where there's a lot of competition and you have females out here competing for the dude and they're trying to really sell themselves and they're competing with other women, like to say that I'm better than this other lady, it's like they get vicious out here. And as a dude, you're real simple. It's like, hey, just like treat me nice because people forget we have feelings. Like we just want to be happy and want peace. But it's like this whole battle thing they got going on that like turns you off because all that masculine energy. I'd rather just play
Yeah.
Pokemon or something.
Wow, that's some heavy stuff. I had no
Can
idea. Go ahead,
can I
Nicole.
can I offer a different perspective? I agree that women are weaponizing their accomplishments and like emotional availability and other factors men do care about before the accomplishments. But I do think that our generation, our parents, our mothers raised us to get that degree, to have these accomplishments because we're told so much that, we aren't good enough, blah, blah, blah. So in the work world, that is what people are looking for. They're looking at your resume. So you get normalized to spitting out your resume. To the dating world, you are automatically going to, I do this, I do that, blah, 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 not realizing we are no longer in work corporate world to pull it back. And the person is really genuinely trying to get to know who you are and not your resume. So I think that's what we have to teach or show or demonstrate others, that we are beyond our resume and accomplishments. That's not what makes us a good person or a good human being. Our resume and our accomplishments doesn't. It's an addition to, but we are other stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah, and again, like Mark was saying, it depends on the individual. Like I don't tell anybody what I do, and it might be
I
because
still don't
of
know what you
our.
do, Michelle. Not gonna lie. I mean, I've known you for like 20 years, and
That's because she does it all. She does. There's
I,
nothing that she
I,
doesn't do.
I,
So
I literally don't tell anybody what I do. Like it's just like, hey, if you walk into me, or if you see me presenting, or if you see me teaching or instructing, then it's like, oh, okay. But it's not when I'm talking to somebody, I'm trying to get to know who they are as a person. I'm not caring about that right now. I want to know who you are at your core and how I can respect Mark when he says, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. And I can respect Lashun when he goes, this is what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm looking for. And if you're down with that, then that's cool. We can roll. So I'm all for that. But I guess it depends again on the individuals. It's such an individualistic type of experience, which I find exhausting. Like, when I hear the examples you guys are giving off, it's like, like I will be single forever because I just don't have the time, the patience, or the energy. Because do you guys not fear when you get to know someone and you're getting to know someone that this could potentially be a huge waste of time? And time is something we can't get back.
LaShawn, you
Um,
got that one?
yeah. I'll say this because uh, like Mark said he casts a big net. I don't cast a net because I ain't looking for nobody. So, and I'll say that if I meet someone and let's say I can be out at the grocery store and just have a conversation with someone and we start chatting it up or whatever, or and we have similar interests and things may progress to a phone number and this or that or whatever. I'll tell them like, look, man, I'm not looking for anybody because and I'll say this for me, I'm not because of it's things like I need to work on for myself to be happy. So I can't bring someone else in on that. So I let it be known early, like, hey, I can't have you trying to work on me and me trying to work on me. So when I figure that out, then I'll be good, and then we can go there. So then that lets folks know, hey, all right, then maybe I ain't even want to try to kick it with them. But it seems like a challenge whenever I say that. Like, oh, well, you know what? I can change it. No, you can't, and please um, don't try. You know, if it takes me 10 years to do it, that's fine. Let me work at my pace. And, it's what it is. I'm okay with that. Other people are not. I'm glad you say you don't like labels, Michelle, because I don't like labels either. Just like I don't like the whole, everyone has to be in a relationship, all this other stuff or whatever. I don't think that has to happen for people to be happy. Some people do think that. I don't. I think folks can be happy without it. But I'm a different breed, and it took me a while to realize that. Definitely not like we were at Shaw, completely different. But yes, it took me a while to get to that point. But yes, I'm a different breed, and I'm okay with that. But I guess for me, everything is all based around communication. And I know you said is tiring and all of this. I just think if you know just a regular conversation. Folks should have a regular conversation, and like Mark said, like don't throw it. You ain't got to throw out your salary and all this stuff or whatever. You don't have to be so defensive either. And just say, okay, maybe I want a relationship down the road, or maybe I want this now or whatever. But I don't know.
But
Um,
Sean, can I ask you something real quick? I just
ask
got to
away.
play the other side right now. So, do you think it's fair that an eligible single man like yourself works out, looks good, has a nice job, no kids? You think it's fair to be out here parading in the streets, uh, eye candy for all these people, and who wouldn't want to have you, right? So, you think it's fair to be out here
Oh
talking to
my God.
people, knowing that you have all this potential, just in their face, like, oh yeah, I look good, I'm saying good job, and got drive a nice truck. Do you think it's fair, Sean?
I
Wait, and I want to add on to that too.
Oh
All of that
boy.
that he just said. And so I'm a great guy. I look good. I take care of myself. No kids, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to give you my phone number so we can further communicate. But I'm not looking for anything.
Mm, she said it.
It, well, hey, again, you're an adult. When you hear that, you don't have to take the number. You could be like, you know what? I'm good, and
Responsible thing to say is I would give you my number. I want you to know before I give it to you, I'm not looking for anything.
well, that's what I normally do. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
yeah, no, straight up, like I normally say that. I mean, even if we're having a whatever, and they like, oh, you want my number? Okay, cool, but just know, like, I don't want to date, I don't want to hang out, I don't want to do all this other stuff. Are you okay with that?
So then
Damn.
what's the purpose of exchanging
So hold on, hold on,
numbers?
hold on, hold
Well,
on.
the
Well,
purpose of
So
exchanging
why
numbers,
what's
can
going
I say,
on
oh,
here?
or do you want to answer, Sean? I know why you
I
exchange the
mean, I know
numbers.
too, but I just want to hear it.
Oh,
Well, hey, and everyone has needs. We're adults. You have adult needs
Well, hold
to
on,
take
hold
care
Okay,
on,
of.
hold on.
exactly.
Then I got a question because yeah, I am not. I'm cool. I'm cool without having labels. I've done it for years. I'm good with that. But there has to be a rule of engagement, and here's why I say that. Here's why I say that. Fine, if you don't want to have a label, I don't want to have a label. I'm cool with that. But what I'm not gonna do is be laid up with you while you laid up with three other people because you put my life in danger and I might end up catching the case. And I don't want to be in that energy. So there has to be a rule of engagement. And I'll tell people straight up, I do have a jealousy streak. It's not like I'm gonna be stalking you or going and driving past your house.
Oh,
I ain't
really?
doing all that. But I will get at you. So it's like we need rules of engagement. So what is that? What is that if you're saying, okay, we're not gonna have labels, this, that, and the other, but you're not gonna be laid up with three or four other chicks when you messing with
But
me.
okay, then let me ask this: if the person tells you like, "Hey, I don't want a relationship. I don't want this. I don't want all this other stuff," why would you even attempt to go to that next level then? If you already know this, because
Because we're
well,
grown ups.
okay,
So if you want to smash and we
okay.
smashing, okay, we're gonna smash, but you ain't smashing other people while we
Oh,
smashing.
wow. Selfish.
Healthy
I
responsibility.
mean,
That's
that's
ex-
that's that's perfectly fine. And then I guess then that's another conversation that you all have to have and be like,
got you.
hey, look, if we're gonna do this, this is how it's gonna be. And that
We will exclusively smash without
and
labels.
I mean and that can be cool, but yeah, that I would like to see how
Got
that
you. Okay.
goes.
What do you mean?
Because
Why would that be a
uh
problem?
Exclusively smash about labels. If the, if it's good, you can catch the feelings. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, it's just what it is.
But you still don't have to have labels just because you have
Right, but
feelings.
what he's saying is that if you're exclusively smashing, now you're basically trying to game the system, right? Now, if it's just going to be what they call back in the day cut buddies, the reason people don't say cut buddies anymore is that it didn't work because your cut buddy would turn to the person that you wanted to be with, and it just didn't work. Nobody says cut buddy because cut buddies led to a lot of people getting shot, stabbed, and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is to meet somebody, break them off, then don't talk to them for at least 3 weeks to let them get it out their system. Maybe somebody else will slide in, you know. But if you were
Wow.
to do that, but you're exclusively smashing, now exclusively laying with
Right.
somebody leads to feelings and they get reinforced every time. And once you know it's exclusive, somebody's going to start feeling like there's some type of ownership or like there's some type of bond that's growing. And now look what you have, a relationship that you're not calling a relationship. So
But that's so common, right? That is a common
Yeah, and
thing.
it ends terribly because they never admit they were in a relationship. So what happens one day somebody says, they catch feelings. And we've been doing this for a few months now, and now they start calling you too much, they texting too much. And then when somebody says, well, hey, we were just supposed to be smashing, now somebody's all been on the shape. But it's just me and you. We shared, we cuddled. And you watched a couple movies
Oh,
and now you eating
okay.
food together. And now it's a whole thing. Like everybody knows at this age, we all know we know the game. Like I even know I'm dating, I'm looking for something long term, but I know if I lay with somebody and I don't want them to think it's serious, I'm gonna have to not talk to them for a few weeks so they know that, oh, so this dude really meant it when he said he wasn't gonna, I'm not his boo.
Got
You gotta
you.
put breaks in between because especially when it comes to women, very emotional. I'm not gonna lie, I'm emotional too. I'm a Cancer, so if you lay with me 3 days in a row, you mine, and next thing you know, you telling me to stop calling you and you got a man and I'm outside your house crying and sending you flowers. It's what it is. Let's be. Y'all gonna laugh at me? I'm
uh,
vulnerable right now.
We're laughing
No,
with you.
no,
We're
I'm
laughing
loving
with
this.
you.
Yeah, but I
I'm
wasn't
laughing
laughing
at
though.
Okay,
you.
I
I'm
wasn't
because
laughing
laughing.
at you. I'm not even gonna front.
no,
I mean, you
I'm
my
loving this.
boy,
Wait,
I'm
so
loving
so I'm
this.
so
laughing at you.
so I
Thank
have a
you.
question. So are we saying that the way to go about being intimate with non-commitment is it's okay to be with multiple people? So like if you're the person that you're choosing to be sexually active with is got you in rotation and she's got some guy on Monday, a different guy Tuesday, a different guy Wednesday, are you coming back on Thursday knowing this or not knowing this
Yes,
or you're okay.
yes, I've been in those situations, and if I don't tell you that you're my girlfriend, and I don't tell you that I plan like being with you and like investing all that time, I assume, even if it's not true, I assume that anybody I mess with who I haven't committed may have laid with somebody else. That's what protection is for. Because I don't have any right to tell you that, hey, don't talk to anybody else because we're doing something unless I've taken that extra step and been like, hey, I'm gonna do things that show that I'm committed to you. If I haven't done that, I have no right to lay claim or have any opinion about your actions when you're not in my view. That's just what it is.
Correct.
Well, well, no, more meaning
Gotcha.
like you're okay with going back for more under the
Oh yeah,
context
especially if
of,
it's good. I mean,
oh,
hey, we're grown now.
Oh
I
oh,
mean,
wow.
at this age, I'm about to be 40. Not too many women I'm running into are virgins. I mean, so you got that's in your head. You're not gonna meet too many guys that are virgins or women that are virgins. If you do, that's rare, and that would scare me now. Cause what? Nobody wanted to touch you in
mm-hmm,
30 years. Like, what's wrong
mm-hmm.
with you?
But if she's betting like three dudes in the same week and you coming back on the fourth day, like that doesn't
Thing is,
concern
she
you?
shouldn't be telling me this. We should be using protection. And if what I don't know, I don't care about. See, that's the thing. Man, I'm
Mm.
not gonna go
Got you.
dig
Okay.
and try to go find something that's gonna get me upset, and I'm gonna lose out on a good experience. Now, a
Correct.
woman might go and be like, "You want to dive in
Oh
the
yeah,
phone or
we are
something like
what?
that."
Yes, we will. We are
Man,
the
yeah, and
FBI, the
that's the problem.
everything,
Men
That is
aren't
all
gonna
of
it.
do
that.
that.
Yes, we're not. We are simple. Men are simple. Very.
No,
Yes.
you guys
Yes.
aren't.
Definitely
Okay, so
not.
let's
Yes.
go back.
Yes.
No,
Definitely not.
no, no, you got
Yes.
Just
no,
as it
no.
just show it right here. The different type, you both are two different types of men liking and wanting two different types of things. So to say men are simple, I'm a woman trying to figure out these two completely different men and widen the net. Like it's not simple to figure out all of these different types of men who claim they're all simple but are truly
All right, well,
different.
let me help you out. What kind of man you want? You want a commitment, a relationship?
Hmm.
Okay, so there's a man like Sean who will tell you up front that he's not interested in that. Boom, simple. There's a man like me. You tell me, hey, I want a
That
relationship. I'm gonna say, me too. And it's that simple with
well,
us. Either you know it or you don't.
okay, so that's my issue. I'm 1000% is finding the emotional available person. So the idea of being in a relationship, cool. I can go out on anybody's date and say, are you looking for a relationship or commitment? They will look me in my eye and say yes. Then two, three, whatever dates into it, I'm like, wait a minute, how are you looking for a commitment when your behaviors aren't matching up with what you said? And then I will say, wait a minute, your behaviors aren't matching up with you say, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. And then the justification, da, da, da. Now I know, like, once the behavior doesn't match the words, I'm out. Like,
Right.
that
So
is
it's
your
not
issue, not mine.
complex. You have men that are honest. You have men that lie. So you have like you have these simps out there, right? And so what they're gonna do, they're gonna tell you like, yes, I'm looking for a relationship because they're hoping that you give up the cheeks soon, right?
Right,
But the
right.
way the way to fix that is like, I say I recently had a situation, and as a man who wants to have a relationship, you have to demonstrate that okay, I'm not just gonna be chasing, the um the cheeks sounds so vulgar.
Yam. How about yams? No, I'm just
Yams,
kidding.
yeah.
No, I
Oh
like
yeah,
cheeks
I
better.
kind of
I
like
like
cheeks. I
cheeks.
got so to show
I
somebody
like
I'm not
cheeks.
chasing the cheeks. I laid in the bed with somebody. Sean thinks it's lame, but I didn't even touch him. I just kind of laid there and I went to sleep next to somebody and didn't even touch him. See, I showed that I have good intentions, and you don't rush it. If a guy's pushing you towards laying down with you and he's saying he wants long term, you know that's not true. You know, and but dudes are gonna play games. So honest dudes are simple, but you also have those little creepers out there, and we can't control that. It's not like we have a big meeting and we say, "Hey, let's call the order. Let's weed out all the creeps." Those dudes are there, like little desperate men who they'll do anything for the cheeks. They'll lie to you. They'll promise you things, and your thing as a woman, I mean, it's you can't believe everything you hear at face value. So I would advise any woman to be cautious and make sure the actions match the words, because the dude will floss on you. He'll take you out to eat. He'll tell you everything you want to hear. But my thing is, if you try to make a man wait a month, good luck with that. Because I mean, even a guy like me who's looking for something long term, I gotta get it somewhere. But if he's trying to rush it, if he's pushy, those are signs. If he's talking about things like, you have to look at the subject of the conversation. Because when I'm really interested in being with somebody, I'm asking you like things that matter in the long term, like what you look to do in the future. I'm wondering about like what you want to be education wise. Like I'm like willing to
Goals.
do like other stuff that doesn't involve your body. Like, hey, let's go get some ice cream. Why not? Oh, you have a problem at your house? I'll do it. I mean, just give advice, but you can tell that you just can't be in a rush. If a dude's rushing you, he's trash. You know what I'm saying? Because if
Hmm.
anybody who's committed long term, Sean can't speak on this because he doesn't do long term. Sorry, Sean, I threw you out there. It's not what you do. But from a dude who does want a relationship and stuff, and yeah, I've been fooled a couple times because like sometimes I find out I'm the whole side dude because I'm such a great guy that chicks like me, but they won't leave they bum. But that's a whole different topic. But you just gotta be wary with what you do, man, and like just if somebody's rushing you and is pushing, you get a vibe that it ain't right, and they're not on the same page as you, then leave it alone. Because I mean, there are more y'all out there than us, but sometimes you just have to cut your loss and just be, yo, this dude, he's not moving right. He's got secrets. Boom, whatever. I can't give away way too much more than that without violating man code, and you do get jumped for that. So,
Well, I'm saying we're getting all
Right.
the tea. But my question here is, what about that point where you move past being emotionally invested? Because bouncing, leaving, disengaging is so much easier before you hit that point. Once you cross over that line of being emotionally invested, it gets much more difficult. So for you all, Lashun and Mark, so when you are getting to know,
Not
well,
me. You can count me out of that. Nope.
all right, so,
stop it! There has not been any chick where you almost
Well,
fell
no, I'm
over.
not gonna say that because I mean I was in a relationship before
mm,
and it before, yeah, yes, there was a time. And I mean, again, nothing bad happened. It was just that for me, it felt, I don't know, I didn't I don't know. I was leaving, I was going somewhere and I was like, yo, I was just honest and I was like, hey, I'm probably not gonna be, you know, loyal. So let me just be honest with you
Dang.
up front.
I told you,
wow.
Nicole. I told you, didn't I? I said you gotta watch the
I was
Sean
like,
Man.
thing.
let me be honest. Like, let me be honest.
That's
I'm
true
gonna
though.
be
That's good.
honest.
That's
And
good.
I was like, I know it's gonna hurt, but yeah. And let me tell you now before all of a sudden, like you said,
How long was
Well,
that? How long
my
was that
question
though?
is when you're saying, let me be honest, it feels like you're being honest that day. But the thought, you didn't wake up like, hey, today's Monday. I think I'm going to leave you. There had to be some thoughts of that prior to the decision to leave. So
no,
that's the
I
part.
was going. I got an assignment somewhere, so I was like, yeah, I'm leaving, and I'm not gonna be,
Oh, got
Okay.
you.
so
Okay. Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna be honest, like, not even gonna lie. I didn't want to do the long distance thing, and I was like, look, it would be very selfish of me to be wherever I'm at doing whatever while you may be here being loyal. So why even play that game? I mean,
Yeah.
again, like I said, uh, you live it, you live and learn. 18-year-old me, 19-year-old me definitely wouldn't have done that, but you know, 22, 23-year-old me was like, yeah, because I mean, hey man, sometimes you might come home and your room is on fire or your doors, your car is vandalized or something or whatever. So yeah, man, you live and learn. Like things you live and learn
Wow.
through or whatever. So just from then on, or just after you do certain things, you're like, man, I should just be honest on certain things. So that was definitely one of the things I was like, I'm gonna be honest about, and yeah, I I don't know. Like, and that's why I said, like, now I'm like, yeah, there's no emotional attachment because I'm not emotionally attached to what I don't really, you know, want. So yeah, there's not. That's why I said,
There's probably some chick. There's some chick gonna be listening to this and like, you know what? I'm gonna find
I
him
just want to
and I'm
know
gonna make.
see,
what's
and
your
see,
sign?
Yeah.
and see,
He's a Virgo.
Okay.
He's a
Okay. Well,
Virgo.
see, that Virgo explains so much, but Virgos value, no, 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 in a positive way, Virgos value
Gemini.
honesty. And so they'll tell you the harshest things, but because they value honesty, they view it as I'm being loving towards you by being this honest. So that makes
Yeah.
sense what you just said. I'm being loving or responsible with my words. So I'm being honest. But everybody that's not a Virgo probably
Yeah. I'm
wouldn't be
pretty sure
that.
she
Oh,
cried.
really?
Right,
Didn't she? She
right,
cried.
right.
Did she cry?
yes,
Yeah,
Oh, man, you wild,
Wow.
son.
and
Did you watch her? Did you watch her cry?
yeah.
Did you
Dang.
like
He
say,
probably watched her cry and then just walked off and shrugged his shoulders
Did
and
you
"Oh,
give her
left.
a
okay,
tissue at
yeah,
least, man?
He
Not,
probably
he
dapped
is
her
a
up. Like,
Virgo. He
hey,
probably just
Ah,
like stare
snap,
at her.
son. Yo, my man's is
He
a
probably just staring
savage.
at her
Nah,
crying.
man,
savage.
nothing like that. Nah,
Okay,
nothing,
bruh. Okay,
nothing
bruh,
like
bruh.
that. Nothing.
Uh-uh.
Virgos, he'll just stare at you crying.
Nah,
Be like,
definitely not.
Absolutely.
Damn.
Definitely not.
"Oh my God, you are so ugly when you
No.
cry."
LaShawn, man, I can't believe you, son.
Hey, man, like I'm
You
saying,
should
man,
wipe that off your face because
I
it
just
looks like it's dirty.
Yo,
You should wipe
Michelle,
it.
who you gonna bring next time? Cause I don't know if I can deal with this dude.
I'm loving this. We are getting so much information. So I have a question for both LaShawn and Mark. In the Black community specifically, I've run into a lot of my clients and just a lot of friends who have issues with non-committal people. And it's interesting because LaShawn is like, I'm being straightforward and telling you I don't want this, but his reasoning is because he wants to work on himself. So that's understandable. Like when you're working on yourself and you want to focus on the healing, that makes perfect sense. But what about the issue where you have these guys out here who just, I don't want to commit because I don't want to commit? What would you tell any female listener on how to deal with
I
that?
mean, you gotta
don't
be, you,
don't deal with it.
or
Like,
accept the
Okay.
reality. You gotta be realistic, right? There's more black females out there than men, right? So the dudes have a lot to choose from, and if you're a guy that's halfway decent, making decent bread, looks decent in shape, you're gonna have a ton of people coming at you. So, and it's tough. I'm not going. Well,
Wow. But from what you explained, they don't sound like they're
no, they're not. Now,
worth
they're
dealing
not
with.
worth dealing with if you're looking for long term. 'Cause I'm actually looking for a relationship. But as far as like if I want to get somebody in the sheets, I mean that's not a problem because there's always somebody that's want to come through and do
Got
that.
you.
And so as a guy, it's
Wow.
hard because there's so many women out here and there's a shortage of us who are successful because a lot of times once they hit a certain age, they don't want the bum dudes, right? They're like, well, you actually have a job and you have your own place, and so
I
it's
don't
easy,
know.
right? So it's pretty easy, and so it's kind of hard because it's like I can commit here, but a lot of guys they see the candy. It's like if I commit to her, she's bad and all, but I got like three or four of the bad ones that's blowing me up because now in the age of social media and DMs, I mean, females slide in DMs too. So like I know that like I may want to be with somebody, but I even have to have this conversation with myself. Actually, I had it with myself earlier. I was like, yo, I really like this lady, but I'm thinking like I got these three other ones that want to holler, and so it's like
Wow,
it's like do
Mark.
I commit to this one and maybe give up on something even better? But they all bad, but it's like I don't want to be a jerk and get them all. So it's like that's what dudes deal with, and some dudes
So it's that fear of missing out.
right. And so what you'll have is it's not just dudes; it happens to people who have options. Like when people have options, it's like if you commit to one thing, you're gonna miss something. Everybody does it, you know. It's
But that's like your whole life. So when does that
well for a
stop?
man.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. For a woman, y'all worried about time and accomplishing things. But for a man who's okay with it and likes, having a new thing every other week or so, men can go out and die that way. I mean, maybe they never settle
Dang.
down, but some men out there can go from boom, 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 boom until you're no longer viable and your junk don't work. Now they got pills for that. So it's kind of like unless you have to make the personal choice that you're going to stop and that you're going to be like, well, I can't have them all. Like I literally had to tell myself that a few years ago. Like honestly, I can't have them all. Like I could have a lot, but I can't have them all. So if I want to have this relationship thing, I gotta lose that attitude of I gotta taste everything because there's always gonna be something new coming around the corner. There's always gonna be a new toy, but you keep all the toys. Toy box gets full, and that's a personal decision the man has to make. And as a woman, you have to accept the risk, and you have to if you find somebody who has what you like and you get them, you have to keep the work up because a lot of issues as well with non-committal dudes because I've noticed at least some of my relationships, once a woman feels like she got you, even for a little bit, it doesn't have to be marriage. Once they feel they got you, they kind of slack off a little bit because he's like I got locked, everything I got so good, he ain't going nowhere. But at the same time, there's another like bad chick with the 2 inches worth of makeup on who's like, yo, I can do better than her, and I see she's slacking off because she came outside the other day with the do rag on. So it's like, you know, it's what it is.
So, but how is that fair then? So, because the dudes need to keep it up too, then, because that sounds really double
But
standard
hey, you
ish.
know what? I never said life was fair, and here's the thing.
Ah.
Now here's what you see, right? You'll see. I've seen it because I
Mm-hmm.
go to the gym. I work out. I like to look good. Best main because I like looking at myself. Uh, but I've seen like
Right.
big sloppy dudes, and they got cute chicks on them. But why are they on them? Not because they want to overlook the fact that they big sloppy, because the bread is long and the dude's willing to pay some bills and whatnot. That's what it is. And so
Gotcha.
they can, so even
Wow.
the dude who's out there who's just throwing his bread around and got some off with, he can still get attractive females in shape and fit because they're more worried about his wallet than his health. See, me, I'm worried about people's health.
Mm-hmm.
So, and plus, since I'm established that I pay my own bills, I'm not gonna mess with somebody who I don't find, physically or visually appealing. I'm not gonna do that. But some females will because they're looking at, I can stomach it. You know what I'm saying? It maybe you throw up afterwards, but you can stomach it because you're like, I want to achieve this, this, and this, and his funds can help me get there, or his connections or network can help me
Wow.
get there. That's something that I've seen that women are willing to do, and I'll be like, yo, how did he pull that? But then I see that, oh, he in the club buying bottles, and they maybe just using him for his bottles, and woman,
What if she really
yeah,
loves him? Could it
okay,
be that?
but yeah, it could be that, because who doesn't want somebody who's, high diabetes risk and all that stuff and obese? But
Oh my
I mean, I'm
god.
saying it could be real.
So you're saying I'm naive to think
I
that
mean,
then?
thing is, life is life. Life isn't fair. The thing you said that got me. You said it's not fair. And as we all know, as adults, life isn't fair. Whether it's employment, whether it's dating, it's relationship, it's not fair. Bread will change things. Manipulation will change things. Nobody has to promise you a fair shot, and that's in dating or relationships. People will lie. People will cheat. People will steal. People will mislead. And as an adult dating in a relationship, you have to take that risk in hopes that you'll find somebody who is going to do you right. But there's no I can't. Nobody in the world, anybody that promises you that they can tell you the correct formula to get it absolutely right and not get swindled, lied, or hoodwinked, they lying to you because life is risk and uncertainties. Because you can only control yourself, you can't control anybody else. So once you accept that, it makes it a whole lot easier. Because like I don't even feel bad now when I meet some raggedy lady who like lies to me. Because you know what, it is what it is. She had a choice. I had a choice. I fell for it. She got me. But hey, if I got the cheeks, I win. So that's for all y'all out there. You ever got over on me? If I got the cheeks, I always
Wow.
win. You can be happily married to like an NBA star. If I got the cheeks at least one time, I won. So that's how I'm playing it. It boosts my ego.
I
Oh my
am
ego.
1000%.
Go ahead,
I'm
Nicole.
1000% encouraged. Thank you for that, Mark. I just look
Hey
forward
Nicole, I put
to
that out there for you. All right,
I
cause you out there on
appreciate
the
it.
dating apps like me. I might even swipe
No, no,
past you one time.
I'm not whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not on the dating
She's
apps
not.
at
Oh, you
all.
not?
At
Oh, it is
all.
a
No
different Nicole.
way.
My bad. I can go ahead and cancel that out then.
But I do, the same gentleman that taught me to listen to what people say versus what they do taught me that men will always be looking for the BBD, which is the bigger, better deal. So women will always be going up against and be compared against to the bigger, better deal. But it is up to the woman to hold out to find the man that sees you, views you, and will cherish you as the bigger, better deal.
So
Oh
So
my gosh, this is so
so,
exhausting.
I mean, it is exhausting, and he did. We had discussions about how women will cancel each other out, and so the last woman standing is the winner. However,
It's like the
this
Hunger
particular
Games.
person,
facts.
was married, going on his third marriage, like fifth or sixth kid. He's a Libra, so he likes romance, and so that is funny when you were actually talking about it. There's so many options. There's so many options. I think that there is a certain level of maturity in a man's life to where they realize, like, I don't want all of these options. I want whatever it is that they want, and come to a conclusion. Is it I want to die single and alone, or I want to have a mate, or whatever their choice is. Um, I've seen both happen, and that's their choice. It is very refreshing to hear your perspective, Mark, because that's exactly what we as women are, quote unquote, up against, and that is why and how women come up with these hardcore standards of I want this or don't do this, blah blah blah, and quick to overanalyze a person's words or actions to either X them out or put them in a bucket. Because I know there was a period of time when I only wanted sex. And so it was a total yawn story. Like, really? You're going to lay in my bed and just go to sleep? You're out. Or do you
Mm.
want to have sex or not? Yes. Why do you, what? what are you cuddling me for? Like
Ugh.
it was, yeah. So
I like
I've done it.
cuddles, man. You not a
What?
cuddler?
Not, uh, no,
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 she's
Disappointing.
no.
not.
But no. But in my mind, in my future relationships, I would like to be. So I'm not a cuddler because I've never been cuddled, parents or otherwise. So I don't even know what that's like. That's like, oh, do you want to speak Japanese? I've never even thought about speaking Japanese. So why would I even say yes? That's what I want.
I'm the
So
cuddle
not
king,
necessarily.
so if you're interested, I'm the cuddle king. I give cuddle lessons. I'm a king cuddler. You know, you put on some music, I
Oh,
cuddle.
See, I don't even know. I don't. You're speaking another language to me.
LaShawn, are you a
No.
color? Oh, LaShawn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to
Hmm.
process. So LaShawn, are you the all right? Your Uber's outside. LaShawn, are you still there?
Hey,
LaShawn left the
LaShawn.
building. LaShawn left. We weren't laughing at you, LaShawn. Come
Oh
back.
man, maybe he
He's
just
still
can't.
here.
Actually, let me
Dang.
check because the same thing might happen to me. Like if your phone times out, it
Yeah.
I'm
yeah. Let me
here.
So you
Can
got
check.
you
to
hear me?
unlock the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Oh
can
yeah,
hear you.
now we hear
I
you
was here.
now.
I don't know
Okay.
what happened.
Oh,
Maybe
If your
because
phone
the
if
screensaver
you're
comes on,
So
it
oh yeah,
takes
yeah,
you off
that's
the
what happened.
audio. Yeah.
Yeah, my screensaver came on, but
so are you a color or are you with an
I'm
Uber?
not a cuddler. I'll cuddle if I don't know. I not no, because I'm a hot body person, so I don't need heat. Um, I don't want that. Uh, and I don't know. That's just
Cop
not my
out.
thing.
Cop out.
Yeah, not my thing, man. You know.
That's not no, you're making it sound like you're so like, but
I
you're
mean,
not. Like you're one of the sweetest
I'm
guys I
not.
know.
I am, but when Nicole said, guys are looking for the BBD, like I'm not looking for the better deal. I'm not looking for
You're just
yeah, I'm
working
not
on
looking for a
yourself.
deal or any that, because I
Yeah.
mean, I'm positive there are a few good women out there that I missed out on. But again, just being honest with myself, like, hey, it's not gonna work. And while it may seem like it will, it's not. And I don't want to be that person
Wow.
that's like, we're in this and then 2 years down the road I'm miserable and I'm pointing the finger at you because I'm like, you know what? It's your fault. You know, I told you
well,
Yeah.
I wasn't ready. You know.
the bigger, better deal can apply to cheeks only.
Still,
So,
yeah, I ain't
so
looking for that either. I mean, again, if it falls in my lap, cool. But I am, I am not. I'm not out there. Whatever. I can sit home and read a book, and I'm cool with that every Friday night. I don't. It
Right.
doesn't bother me anymore. Not not to say I was wild and stuff, but yeah, I was wild. I was a little wild in my younger days.
Dude, you
Yeah,
would disappear. I literally put a
yeah.
post. You would literally be gone
So
for hours, and we'd be like, "Where's LaShawn?"
So
but I mean,
And no one would
it's
know.
just for me. That's why I keep saying like I just tell women like, look, I ain't looking for this because whatever. Now, if you still like, hey, you handsome, I want to throw you. Okay, cool, come on. Again, we're adults.
What if it is
Uh,
diseased?
well, as Mark said, hopefully everybody is wrapping up. Use some
condoms
type of protection or something.
and
Hopefully,
pH. I mean, you can smell some bad pH, man. Like that joint hits you like
Eh.
you be like, yo, get your chemistry right, and that's the
that's
most
true.
respectful way you can say it. Like, I think your chemistry's off, and you know it is. Like, come on, man, come on.
That's true.
Oh my god! You get your chemistry
But
together.
hey, but to Nicole, the
Oh, that is
BBD
great.
thing now, not all guys are always looking for that BBD. I mean, some guys are, but a lot of women are as well, which is why a lot of times like they're out here and it's like they're looking for the next better dude. And so I think it goes both ways. Like I feel that way. Like I'll meet people and since I don't disclose what I make and I'm not gonna dress up in no uncomfortable clothes or let people know that I got bread, I mean I hear them and it's like they ready to pass me up. And I throw it out there right when I see they about to dip. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing good, make my six figures. They'll be like, oh gosh, and then all of a sudden they get interest, but now you're already too late because you don't played your
Yep.
card. I see what you was about. So
Yep.
it works for both sexes,
mhm.
looking for something bigger and better, men and
Yeah, I
women,
was
but not all
learning.
men do that.
But what about people who are not looking for BBD, who aren't looking just for like the Uber ever so often,
Like,
but like, hey, I'm not looking for it, but if it shows up and the person's down, I'm down, we're both all in,
oh,
let's do
you
this.
talking about
What
me?
about
Well,
that?
that's
Does
me.
that
I
not
mean,
exist?
I'm cool with one
Oh,
person. I had my phase where I ran through them, but like I'm over that. I'm grown now, so it's like,
yes,
okay,
we
stop
know.
it. Anyway, but nah, like I mean, that's me now. Like if if
I know
if
all the
if you
secrets.
bad and I like you and I got something there, I can pass on everything else because I've done it, I've had it. So that's why it's important for people to have experiences,
Gotcha.
because you haven't had experiences, you don't know to pass up. I've experienced enough where I can pass something up, and I've got the maturity now where based on what I've done in my past, I know I can't have them all and I can't chase them all. So I'm at the point now where the BBD is not going to pull me.
And it's
I mean, yeah,
exhausting, right?
well,
I don't know. When I hear all these things,
Red
I just
Bull,
feel like, gosh, you
well,
have to
Red Bull,
sit there and
Michelle,
I'm not just talking about the physical aspect. I'm talking about getting to know somebody. That
yeah.
takes time.
Yes,
That's
it is
exhausting
to
to
me as
me.
well, and that's why I don't talk to a lot of people because it's exhausting. So you try to commit your energy to like one situation, you know.
I'd
Right.
be afraid I'd
So
mix like with dating multiple people. Like, oh wait, you have how many kids?
that's why you give them a
No,
nickname.
no,
You give them a nickname, and it's all the
no
same
facts
nickname.
about them. Like,
Oh,
Oh, really? Well, ginkgo biloba is good for your memory, right? Because if you're gonna be in the game and be a player, you gotta make sure you can keep your facts straight. Like if you
uh,
can't even handle that, you might
oh
just want to
my
get index cards or something,
mm-mm.
Nicole. But as everybody who's ever been like a true player knows, a true player can keep it. I mean, look at Lashun right now. He jug. Look, my
Michelle over
man's,
here, like,
he
look.
move how he move, and he don't get nobody confused. And at the end of the day, Nicole, if you ever do get it confused, hang up, never call him back. It's that simple.
Facts. There you go. I'm taking notes.
Be like, oops. So okay, for Lashon and Mark, for the females who are listening, if you had to give any words of advice for both sections, for the ones who are looking for a commitment, I'm gonna ask you, Mark, what advice would you give females listening who are looking for a commitment, and for Lashon, for the ones who are just out here like, I don't want a commitment, I just want to be out here and smash. What would be the words of advice for both of those type of female listeners?
You got this, Sean? You want me to go first?
um, listen, listen. Um, if that's what the person said, if that's what the guy says, that's all he wants, then hey, and you're cool with that, then go with it. If you enjoy their company, go with it until you don't enjoy it no more and bounce. I mean, you're grown. You're a woman. You
Dang.
can make your own decisions, So don't let no one hold you hostage and just bounce. You know, if you like, you know what, it gets to a point, and I ain't feeling this no more. All right, cool, man. And then maybe that dude might change, maybe not. It doesn't matter. Like you need to look out for yourself. So look out for yourself. I mean, as a woman, look out for yourself. However that is, however you want to do that. But look out for yourself though, because yeah, we're in this stage where now just like Mark said earlier, man, some people gonna lie, some are gonna tell the truth, then there might be some in the middle, you know but just if they say this, like, Nicole, you said the guy said he wanted a relationship, and then a couple of days later he didn't. Sometimes guys really don't know. In the beginning it's like, yeah, I want this, and then all of a sudden, I don't. So all right, cool. You don't. You change. All right, peace out. See you later. Like, don't give no heartache over it. Just all right, cool. Peace out. We ain't got no child.
But that's hard if the person has the like you said, the ones who don't know. So they get in it, that they get the person emotionally invested in everything else, and then it's like, oh, this is too intense. I don't want
So
this no more.
the correct
That that's some karma that
Is
you're
it?
gonna
absolutely
have to deal with.
the correct response should have been, do you want a
Yeah,
relationship? I
I
don't
think
know.
so.
But that's considering we're dealing with a brutally honest person, Virgo, that would give you that. But the majority of the people won't be honest and say, do you want a relationship? No. Do you want a relationship? Yes, and truly mean it.
Because they're
Well,
trying to
no,
get the
I dated
cakes.
this person for a whole year. Like we got down maybe like 3 times in 12 months.
Oh, snap! So that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of them situations. I
Absolutely.
only did it 7 times in the year. It was excruciating. So if you only did it 3 times in the year, I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100. If you only give the cakes, 3 times in a year, that's why the cat had to go. Cause I mean,
Well, trust me, I have a huge appetite, so
oh, it was
definitely
them.
wasn't on me.
Well, then you went
Definitely
out. You
wasn't
went
on
out.
me.
You dodged the bullet. Cause could you imagine the whole life for
Exactly.
that? Yeah.
Exactly. I sure
Yeah,
did.
that's
I sure did.
yikes.
And I did, once I came to the realization of like, wait a minute, this is not, your words are not matching up with what you're saying, then I did definitely end it, and ended it with, you are a lesson, not a mistake. Like, I learned my lesson. To be able to look a little deeper than just take your words, which is sad, because then you have, like LaShawn were saying, listen to the words.
But okay, let me ask this
Right.
then. I mean, why is it bad that they changed their mind? I mean, because what if they were invested in it and then, okay, you know what? This ain't what I wanted. I mean,
Well, first of all,
How long does it take to get to
I don't
that?
think he
That's not
changed
what
his
I
mind,
wanted.
for one. But two, if we do want to go across and say that he changed his mind, that's where discussions still should have been had. Like, include me in this discussion. If you're changing your mind, let's talk about it. Cool.
Pause.
Because I would like to be able to separate too.
I have to say pause. Okay. So if he has an internal discussion based off of a year experience and he decides that it's not something that he's willing to do it ready for, I mean that's a discussion he have with himself. Like, yeah, you want to be included,
No,
but the thing is, you don't have to
no,
be.
no. He, trust me, we would still be doing what we were doing today had I not ended it. Had I not read his behavior as not going for commitment, we still would be doing the dating and having sex and blah blah blah. So he didn't have that decision like, I no longer want to be in a relationship, so let's end it.
Did he talk
That
about
mature.
marriage at all at any point?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Moving in, living, blah blah
did he
blah.
buy
But
a
then it was
ring?
like, mm, I don't know. He may have, but I never. The thing of it is he was, after a year, which was the nail in the coffin for me, was telling me about dates that he was going on, and I'm like,
Oh, wait, hold up. So y'all was together for a year, but he's telling you that he's dating other people.
correct.
So, oh well,
That
that
is
I mean, well, that's I
well,
mean,
that would have
so
been easy then.
yeah, he
Like,
was
yeah,
letting
right.
you.
It
He was
was.
basically letting you know,
It
like he
was.
didn't have the heart to break up with you, but
Yes.
he's putting it out there because he was trying to see if you went for it. Because you stayed with him while he was going
Right.
on dates, then he getting that too first. Like, yeah, I got one at
Exactly.
home, and I can still out here and do my thing. So yeah, I mean, he basically
Exactly. And then
yeah.
then was shocked when I ended it. I'm like, what are we shocked about? I'm confused.
Or he thought
Like,
you was a sucker. I mean, he figured like, yo, I told her the first date story and she ain't kicked me out. So let me test the second one out there. And then next thing you know, 3 months later, he gonna hit you with the, hey baby, I brought somebody home. Was good.
oh no.
Well, of
If he
course, Michelle.
No, the way my jealousy set up, the way my okay, okay, okay. So that was some awesome advice, Lashawn. So, Mark, I'm going to you. What advice would you tell females who are looking for a commitment?
I'm gonna start out with one word: therapy. First and foremost, because here's the thing: if a guy decides to take himself out the games with women's hearts and all that and commit, and lets you know that he's willing to commit and he's willing to respect you, because it really boils down to respect, right? So if a guy shows that he respects you, treats you well, shows that he has intentions for the long term, and is not looking for a short term conquest, it's on a woman. You need to set aside whatever somebody did you wrong in the past. If you have an ex husband, a boyfriend that dogged you, whatever, don't put that on that guy, because if a guy has is willing to make those moves, you got to meet him, because a guy's only gonna do so much. A guy will let you know what he intends to do, but if he feels like he's always battling your past, he's going to bow out and tap out, because it takes a lot of energy to commit to something and say, hey, you know what, I want you, you're special, I don't care about your past, which most men don't. But if you still attached to your past and you're going to put those past sins on him, the dude's gonna leave because he's become exhausted trying to convince you that he's not your past, and he shouldn't even have to do that. But I can speak from experience. It is exhausting meeting women who are still dealing with past damage and trying to battle through that past damage and prove that I'm not. Because how can I battle things I didn't do? How can I prove that I'm not a liar when I've never lied, or things like that? So if you actually put yourself on the market and say that you're looking for long term, you gotta let go of whatever happened in your past. I mean, You can keep that inside and internalize your past lessons and experience and look for warning signs. That's fine. But that new man coming in is fresh, fresh slate. Be willing to give somebody a fresh slate. Be willing to, drop all your bias against men. Like if you have this anger against men and you don't trust them, then you're obviously not ready to, receive that kind of love or that type of affection that somebody's trying to give you. Then be honest with yourself. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. Because what's going to happen is that woman that you're going to have opportunities presented that are exactly what you want, and you're going to run them off because you're trying to pick at them. Because what I've noticed, a lot of women will be pick at men who have done nothing wrong based on their past, and then feel sorry about it later. But once you let a man go and run them off, there's no point hitting him a week or 2 weeks later saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, I thought about it," because at that point he's committed, put time into it, he tried, and it might just be a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is just if you're ready for that long term and you've had bad experiences, get over them and give that person a fair shot. If you haven't had bad experience, you're ready for a long term, but you've heard horror stories about men in general, understand that just like all women aren't the same, and we're not going to say that all women are ratchet just because it's a hot girl summer. Also, all men aren't dogs. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is stop listening to social media is great. You have a lot of people out there putting little talk shows out there that bash and they'll sell you things and they'll be like you'll listen to it and they'll be like, oh, this is great, and make your own decisions. Establish your own morality. I'm just saying,
Derek
yeah,
Jackson.
that like that. Establish your own morality, and don't let people on the outside control how you move, and don't move with the times. If you know what you want, get what you want, and don't let it be influenced by how many likes you'll get, and be thinking about what my friends think. What do you want? What does that person mean to you? And that really matters because once a man sees that you're being controlled by outside influences, he feels like he's involved with them, and he's gonna move because and one more thing, it seems small, but if you're really on social media all the time, if you're not getting paid for it, put your phone down. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a big thing that's killing it out here because everybody wants to post everything. If you're taking pictures at every plate when you go on a date, I'm gonna put this out there for y'all that don't know. Dudes, we hate that. We take you somewhere nice to eat, but it's like, hold on, don't eat the bread yet. I gotta get a picture of the plate. I almost want to just get up and walk out, and that does happen. And if you're watching the movie with your dude in Netflixing and you're on your phone texting, we don't like that either. That's enough for some dudes to be like, yeah, I'm done with this. So just stop, please. Act like it's the
Yeah, that's
90s and
right
early
there.
2000s and just put the phone down. Focus on him. And also, if you focus on the man, you won't miss those warning signs that you be saying blindsided you, but he was acting it the whole time, but you was in your phone too much and they noticed.
Ooh, gems
Ooh,
right there.
speak it, boy.
Gems.
Mark is
Well, I
gone,
can throw my
man.
cash up out there if y'all want to, pay me for all this knowledge I'm putting out there. But
Woo.
no, but that's all I'm saying is really just if you're interested in actually a long term, a man, how men move, men get to the point where they decide they want a long term relationship and they're ready and they'll be ready to go all in. My words is just don't make him pay for the past and you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome, awesome. Well, Lashun and Mark, Nicole, do you have? You know what? Before we go, I have one question that has ish that I run into. So this is I'm asking for myself on this one. How do you deal with dudes who freaking get um ah, what's the word I'm looking for, Nicole? When they start to learn you, know you, and figure out who you are, what you do, and everything, and now they get what am I looking for? It starts with an
Ghosted.
A. No, I do get that. No, come on,
A
Mark.
word
Come
that
on,
starts with
smart
a A.
Mark and
Apples? I mean, what are
Lashawn.
you talking about?
Yeah.
No, no. When the female has doing everything on her own, so the dude doesn't feel he can offer anything.
Uh,
What besides intimidated? What do you mean? Like,
that's not an A. That's an
right?
all
Intimidated. Yeah,
I.
I
that's
was
not it.
I was like,
That's not an
when you
A.
said, "Hey," I was like, "Asshole!" Like what?
Mm,
No,
Like
right.
no. There's another word. There's another word, but yeah, intimidation.
Ooh.
There's another word I'm looking for, but intimidation. How do you deal with that? How do
By
you
what,
deal
your
with dudes who
success, your
are
progress, or
intimidated
what you're doing?
by strong,
Okay,
just by who you
Ooh.
are, your energy, what you
boom.
do, what
So
you
that's the
represent?
problem. That's
How do
what
you
I
deal
talked
with
about
that?
you earlier is that women will go out and they've been told to go out and do all these great things, get all these achievements, be go getters, right? Now you gotta put yourself in the man's shoes, right? He's doing enough that he feels that he needs to do as a man. When he meets somebody, the worst thing you want to do is be intimidating to a man. Now it can come in masculinity. It can come in the fact that if you're more ambitious than him, he's gonna feel like either he has to get up to where you're at. Right. He's
Ambitious.
gonna feel
That's
like
the.
he has
Oh,
to
sorry.
chase
Go
to
ahead.
where you're at, and maybe he doesn't want to, or he's gonna feel like, yo, you're doing a whole lot. So the thing is, if you're doing a whole lot and you want to keep a man, I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, if you're doing a lot and you know you're intimidating, you know you're like one of those power ladies out here.
But that's the thing. Like you don't know you're
Well, I
intimidating.
mean,
You just
I
living
mean,
your
when he
life.
stops, hit an intimidating woman will run a man off. A woman who's doing way too much and is so career minded and wants to achieve big things is great for her, and it's good. But for a man, you don't want competition. You want to. Most men want to come in and assume that traditional role is I'm going to kind of lead. But if you're moving so fast that he can't catch up and he's never going to lead, he's going to be feeling like, yo, I'm the whole like I'm the chick in this situation. And next thing you know, he's going to be rocking the apron. If he can't cook, what's he going to do? He's going to feel like, yo, she's taking charge. And what do I have to offer? And so what he's gonna do is
Oh.
bow out. And next thing you know, he's gonna find, and you're gonna be like, yo, why he leave me for this basic chick? Why? Is because that basic chick allows him to still feel like a man. She's not outperforming him. So that means when you're talking to people and you're talking to a man that you know isn't
Wow.
at your level or isn't achieving what you are, you have two choices. Slow down some of the stuff you're doing and let this dude establish a place where he can feel like a man, or don't talk to him, because if you're outperforming him and you're the earner and you're doing all this stuff and he's looking at you with his eyes wide, like if he says things like this, oh wow, that's crazy. Oh my God, that's amazing. And oh, you really did that? Those are signs that you're out of his league, and he's gonna leave you for a little dot box because he's gonna be like, I need somebody who's lower than me so I can feel like a man again. Because you just dominate the heck out of me. Because when I run into situations like that where somebody's like doing a
Dang.
whole lot, really ambitious, and it almost sounds like they don't have time for a relationship, only thing I
Mhm.
can think of is that, yo, I mean, am I gonna do her? She gonna do me? Like I'm not sure where I stand in this, and that is the reality of it. So for all those women out there who are career minded and ambitious, sometimes you're running off a man who's his thing is I need to get a job, provide, protect, boom, I got it covered. But then he meets you, you got four different revenue streams, you working on this, you stacking up degrees. He's like, oh my gosh. And in my mind, it goes like this: I wasn't ready, and then I'm over there looking at the waitress like, oh, but she cute though, and she'll appreciate, my one little degree. And if and she'll,
Wow. Do you agree with this,
yo,
LaShawn?
come on,
You agreeing
Sean,
with what
I
he's
keep
saying?
100 all the time.
I agree with when he said the last part, like don't talk to him. I mean, I'll just keep
Basically,
it simple. Like don't talk to him. Like, find somebody on your level. I mean, really, and that might mean you might have to go out of the area or go elsewhere. That's fine. I mean,
You
I'm just
sound like my
saying.
brother. You're
I
not
mean,
gonna
I
find what
mean,
you're
I,
looking
I'm just
for
saying.
here.
I mean, I don't. I'm not guessing what's there because I don't know. But sometimes it might come to that point where you might be like, you know what? I might need to travel a little bit to get what I'm looking for. Because yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna be simple and be like, yeah, just don't talk to him. Like my, don't talk to him.
And
I
Michelle
mean,
intimidates me, Deshaun. Like I thought about it. I said, "Hey, you got a whole
Shut
MIT
up,
shirt on." Once I see
Mark.
where the MIT shirt, I said, "I could never." I was like, "Shoot."
wait,
I
I thought it
said,
was Tim.
well,
Yo, I thought it was.
You know what?
It's not Tim. Yo,
Shut
it's not
up.
Tim,
You know
yo. I
what?
was like, I was looking on,
Okay.
yo, I was looking online, like, what
When I
college is
see the
Tim?
both of
I was
y'all.
like, trademark institution manual. I was like,
yeah,
what the
You're so
hell?
stupid. Oh, so next time I will flip the rotation of the camera so it won't be
thank
in mirror
you,
format.
please.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Michelle, you're kind of intimidating. It's
Jeez.
like like I couldn't imagine being a guy talking to you with everything you got going on. Because when you're really successful, you're doing a lot of stuff. Even somebody like me who's pretty accomplished, I'm like, oh yeah, it's out my league. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't. Hey,
That's
that's the price
crazy
of being great.
though.
You know what I'm saying?
I like greatness,
Shut
but
up.
Yeah.
like I said, I ain't looking for it. But if I was, yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't mind. I don't care.
Oh,
So you
says
don't
the guy who
mind, but
doesn't
Mark
look for
says he
relationships.
does.
Come on now, who's gonna look?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
Hey, didn't I just say that? I said that though. I prefaced it as I ain't looking for nothing.
yeah,
I
because
prefaced it
I
as
mean,
that.
let's be honest.
Yes.
From what Lashun just said, you could be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, $2 million in the bank. He's gonna break you off, and it doesn't matter, right? But for somebody who's looking like I gotta live in the house with you, you know what I'm saying? And you walking around, you doing all these big things, and it's like, well, I went to the gym today, and you like, well, I got meeting, I got board meeting, I got this, I got to meet this committee. I'm saying like, well, dang, I ain't doing enough. I talked to the PTA, and you're like, oh yeah, I had staff meeting, and this corporate stuff. We had lunch at the golf course. So I'm like, well, I went to Chick-fil-A. I can't do nothing for you at that point. As a
But what if she's what if she's saying,
Oh
"Hey, let's
wow!
build
Don't get me started
together."
on let's build
What if she's
together.
not
That does
leaving
not
you
make a man
behind?
feel better. No, if you tell a
That's
man let's
not
build
good.
together, I'm gonna bring you up because now
Oh
he feels
God.
like, yo, my chick's dragging me up. Like, I mean, a man want.
Wow, I am
Well, I
screwing
mean, no.
I
everything up,
tried
What
to
you
tell you,
Nicole.
what
girl.
what you have to find a dude that's where you at or higher. Because if you find a dude anywhere lower than you, all that I'm gonna bring you up with me thing, you're gonna emasculate him because he's gonna be like, yo, and his boys is gonna be like, yo, did she give you allowance today, man? Like, hey, you try to chew it for,
Oh,
just ask Shorty for some beer or for some beer money. He's gonna be like, well, yeah, I'm gonna hit her up and see if she can throw some in my bank account. Come on, at that point, that dude's self esteem, everything is all broken. So yeah, go get it. Go be great. But just know that you just eliminated everybody who's under you is done. Only cats that's gonna mess with you is some bum that's okay with the free ride. Like, okay, you know what, she's getting it and I'm not. I'm gonna hang onto her coattails. But thing is he's never gonna rise to your level. And you don't want that type of bummy dude because they ain't gonna be like, yeah, I got this whole week simp with me. You know what I'm saying? So you need to find somebody at your level or actually higher because if you find anybody else, you're gonna intimidate them. They're gonna be daunted. You're gonna overshadow them, and they're gonna feel like a straight chump. You know.
well, this has been so enlightful. This is. I'm
Yeah, I mean, you
enlightened. Thank
couldn't get
you.
me.
Thank you. Well, do you
I
have anything, Nicole? I'm done. I don't even. I don't have nothing else to say.
I completely agree.
I need to go process. I need to go sit someplace in the corner and think about this.
So in my clubhouse rooms, I listen to this type of stuff all day, and I just shake my head like, wow, I see it. When I first started Clubhouse, you get to put your profile and like who, what, when, where, like they kind of want to get a feel of who you are. And I first went in, started with my resume, like what do I do, not who I am, and then listened to a couple of rooms, dating rooms, and then it was like they want to know who you men want to know who you are. So then I changed up my profile, said nothing about what I do, and now I'm getting hit up left and right. So I'm like, so
Wow. So basically, dim
no,
your
I'm always
shine.
going to be do what I do. I'm always going to be that person. I'm just not going to lead with
I don't leave
that.
with it. I
Girl,
think people just once they figure it out, it's kind of
you
like,
don't lead with
oh,
it, but it's definitely like
anyway,
I'm going to this conference, I'm setting up this training, you know what I mean? They pick it up.
I
But
mean, what
I
you
mean,
telling me you
it's
do,
just who you
Michelle?
are.
interesting.
Do you tell
I
me you
don't
work
tell
with
them
Jack Bauer
nothing.
or
I
something? I
literally,
mean,
Hey Sean, do
are
you hear
yeah,
how Michelle talks? I mean,
yeah.
come on, man. All you gotta do is hear how she talks, her use of big words, her voice. I mean, at that point, it's kind of like, all right, you're
Shut
not fooling
up.
anybody. You definitely don't work at Sonics. Like, come on, you know. And like, I mean, hey, I told Michelle earlier before we came on, I just switched my dating pro. I'm only talking to people between 24 and 30. All you older Johns can have it
Oh my
because you
God.
know what, they're nicer. It's easier to impress them. I'm sorry, but as a man, yo, I need somebody I can impress because I'm tired of fighting with 40-year-old women who want to argue with me about how successful he is. It's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight with you.
So you feel that that age
This is
demographic
so
is
insightful.
going to treat you nicer?
Oh, okay, because it's two groups of that age demographic. The ones that's chasing the big bread that they never gonna
Yep.
get, they gonna be the ones
Bag
hanging outside
chasers.
the studio and yeah, sack
Hmm.
chasers. And then there's gonna be the ones who actually have dated some people their age and realize, oh, these cats in their 20s don't have jack, and they
Mm.
gonna be, like, oh, look, this guy, he's nice, and look, he actually has something. So I'm fine with that because what I found, and especially like my last 5 or 6 interactions with people over the age of 40, that oh my gosh, this is a competition. It's like two people butting heads because they have their degrees and their accomplishments. I have mine. I'm not gonna fight, but they want to fight. And what I have is women trying to establish dominance over me. And it's just like, no, I'm not. I
Mm.
don't want to dominate anybody. I'm not asking you to like be like
Oh,
super. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not that guy. But the fact that you feel like you get cussed out. Like, I don't cuss out no woman, but they'll cuss you out. It's like, yo, like you so disrespectful. Like you gonna straight treat me like I'm trash because you have these qualifications. Not you two, but some women feel like the qualification, the
Mm.
stats that they got to now gives them the right to handle everything like a man. Like, I got this energy. I don't need no dude. Now, my thing is when you tell me you don't need a dude, then why are you on a dating site trying to talk to a dude? but you have this whole attitude of you don't need one
Yeah.
and you self-made, boom, boom, boom. And the only thing that you come at me for is, yo, I just want you to help me. I just need you for travel. And don't forget these three kids I got with me. You gotta love them too. It's like, yo, you asking for a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm opting out because everybody at that in that age range, at least up here where I'm at in my location, I'm sorry, they all come with the same bad energy where either they've dominated somebody or they reached the point where they feel like, hey, I got a master's or a PhD, and so I'm gonna run you. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like I'm all for women out there doing anything because I got daughters, but as far as getting run and like have a woman like basically boss me around, degrade me and stuff like that, yeah, I'm a whole dude. You got me all the way messed up. I'm not gonna argue and fight with you and try to establish dominance. If I got 2 weeks in with you in 3 weeks, it's nothing to walk away because it's only 3 weeks. Life is short, but it's still long enough that three
Right.
weeks don't. I'll forget about that by the summer. So it is
Mhm.
what it is. But y'all keep
Gotcha.
doing your thing and being big and successful. But you got to aim higher because if y'all looking for average dudes or even dudes like me, I'm sorry, y'all a little bit intimidating and whatnot. I just did it because Sean's here and he makes me feel comfortable. So,
So
You are so
but
you
see,
full of
that,
know
that's what I'm
crap
that
right
talking about
now.
right there. That masculine energy,
Wait,
aggressive.
wait,
What?
Yeah.
listen.
Just saying.
So
I'm
you
just...
know the experience of like when you're in a swimming pool and there's like 100 people in the swimming pool and you can't quite tell who all is in the swimming pool because there's so many people.
Nah,
Michelle and I are well. Listen, Michelle and I are the type we're in the pool with all of these women, and the only way I was able to see like, wait, what? We're swimming in the pool with these bitter women that are pulling our stock down with their negativity, with their attitude, with them leading with their resumes is because we're now in it. But I didn't realize, like, oh, I got out the pool and now I'm listening to men like you sharing your experiences and then listening to the women like, wait a minute, do you guys hear how this is coming across? And so that's why I think it's important
Right?
to
Because
have
I'm
these
not bitter.
to have these type of conversations so that way we can be the cream that raises, but then also to educate others, like, do
Educate.
you hear how
Yeah.
negative
You
and bitter that
sound.
sounds? Like, if you really, and a lot, I do
Right.
find that a lot of women act out of pain, that bitterness out of pain, but they don't. Men and women are not aware that they're hurting. It's their outward behavior that tells on themselves, and then a lot of time they're so guarded that they're not willing to hear. Like, whoa, that sounds like pain. Some unhealed pain that you got going on, men and women. So that's where it's like, man, you got to
Yeah.
find the person that's open for feedback and has an open ear, able to receive the information and not just say, nope, it's you, nope, it's you.
And we'll do the
Yeah.
work. Right? Like LaShawn and Mark both brought up
Hmm.
the importance of doing the work on
therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yourself.
therapy is important in our community.
Yes.
People don't think that they need therapy, but honestly, if you've been through something crazy and bad and have trauma, a new man can't help you. No matter how much he can listen,
Hmm.
he's not qualified to help you get through it unless he's had some type of training. Like I have a woman that called me all the time, and I'll listen. They say I'm a great listener, but at the end of the day, all I can do is I can empathize, but I can't really help you. Yeah, it may help for you to talk, but to actually walk you through that, I don't have the skills for that. I'll listen. So if you're finding a man, you're either he's gonna be a good listener and wish he could help you, or he's gonna leave because he can't help you. But then they therapy for whatever ails you, and then jump out there
Hmm.
after you resolve the issues that you have, and so you can come out into the game like with a whole new face, you know.
Hmm.
But therapy is important, so I
I
push
agree.
therapy, talking to people, and you got to work on yourself. I mean, Sean's been working on himself for forever. I mean, that's his thing. I hear you, dog. I
And
mean,
to be quite honest, a relationship will only expose the stuff that you need to work on.
true
So,
facts.
Yes.
Look at y'all.
Yes.
Y'all pretty smart. That's what I'm
That's
talking
so
about.
true. That's so true. It's that all that Tim education.
Yes, Tim.
So we
Tim. That's not even real school, Sean. I looked it up. Tim isn't even real.
Well, I tried to look it up too. So
Yeah.
I can't stand either one of you right now. So we're gonna go ahead and close out this podcast. This was one of the best. I've gotten so much information that I'm gonna sit and process on. Um, so I have nothing else. Does anybody else have anything they want to throw in before we sign off?
nope. Thank you for
I'm
having
good.
me.
No,
Appreciate
that's
it.
fine.
absolutely.
Oh, this needs to be a regular, reoccurring, like Ask Lashun, Ask Mark type of episodes here
Sure,
because,
I'm gonna
boy,
save questions.
the
I'm gonna
information.
save this one for those guys and get input on it.
Yeah, this is good. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. If you guys have any questions or comments or want to get to know Lashun or Mark a little bit more, Mark is looking for commitment. Lashun is not. Just so you do know, let us know the commitment in the comments, and hey, I'll hook you up. Everybody ain't got to be lonely,
Nah,
so
nah, don't
just
hook
let
them
us
up with
know.
me. I'm no, I'm good. I'm okay.
Just the Uber
What
people,
about two
just a
people
quick
that aren't looking
period.
for anything?
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay, well,
we'll chat.
okay,
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll chat.
we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys take care and look forward to our next episode. And thank
Thank
you all
you.
for listening.
Bye.
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 Bye.